ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So welcome all of you all for our Bhagavad Gita overview series, chapter wise overview series. So today we are discussing the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita called devotional service ya bhakti yoga. So as we have been doing every time before we begin the 12th chapter, we'll just do like a quick summary, a quick recap of all the 11 chapters, the acronyms for the 11 chapters. Chapter 1, what is the acronym? Anyone remembers? Doubt. DOUBT. Chapter 2, what is the acronym? Gita. Good. Chapter 3, TREE. Very good. Chapter 4, Years. Correct. Good. Chapter 5, STEP is the acronym. Chapter 6 is easy. Chapter 7, head, HEAD is the acronym. Chapter 8, dead. Chapter 9, king, Rajya Vidya, so the acronym is king. Chapter 10, see, how you can see God everywhere, SEE. Chapter 11 that we did last time, Rupa, RUPA, the universal form. So today we are getting into chapter 12, which is a very, very important chapter called devotional service. So we have already seen whether the chapter is called Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Virat Roop, whatever the chapter is, we have been seeing continuously that Krishna is almost concluding every chapter with the theme of Bhakti. So now chapter 12 is fully dedicated only to the process of Bhakti, devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. Chapter 12 has in total 20 verses, a very small chapter. I think chapter 12 and chapter 15 are the smallest chapters, both have 20 verses. So the acronym for chapter 12 is God, G-O-D. The first 7 verses of this chapter is addressing this very important question, or the question that generally most people have. Does God have a form or is he formless? Is it better to worship a personal God, a God who has a form, or is it better to worship impersonal Brahma Jyoti? This is a doubt that many people have, and this is the question that is answered in the first 7 verses. Once and for all, Lord Krishna settles this question, which is the highest kind of worship. So text 1 begins with Arjuna asking a question. Arjuna's question is, Arjuna vacha evam satata yukta ye bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam chetesham ke yoga vittama. So Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna, which is better? Is it better to worship you in your personal form through devotional service? Evam satata yuktaye bhaktas tvam paryupasate. Tvam is Krishna, the personal form of Krishna. So Arjuna is asking Krishna, is it better to worship you in your personal form or ye chapi aksharam avyaktam? Or is it better to worship impersonal Brahma Jyoti, which is beyond senses, unmanifest? So, is it better to worship a personal form of God or the unmanifest Brahma Jyoti? Which is more better? Arjuna is asking a clear question to Lord Krishna. So, Prabhupada explains in the purport that there are two classes of spiritualists. Who are the two classes of spiritualists? Two types of transcendentalist spiritualists. One is called those who worship the personal form of the God. They are the personalists, and the other is the impersonalists. Okay? Devotees who worship God with a form, and the other is those who are Mayavadis, Brahmavadis who worship impersonal Brahmajyoti. And always, since time immemorial, there is always a clash between these two philosophies. इन दोनों का जमता नहीं है कि नहीं? Srila Prabhupada, when he was in America, what is Prabhupada's pranam mantra? Nirvishesha shunyavadi paschat deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra, he would love to defeat all this impersonalist kind of understanding. So when Prabhupada would give lectures in the initial days, Prabhupada would speak against this Mayavad understanding. Anyone who says God has no form, we are all God, Prabhupada would keep condemning it. And the initial devotees, they would think that probably Prabhupada had like some personal enmity with his Mayavadis. And then slowly the devotees started to understand the philosophy. So these two kinds of transcendentalists have always been there, and there's always some difference of opinion. We tell the story. One time, there was one person who came across one impersonalist. The impersonalists, they chant one mantra. Like we have Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you find an impersonalist, the mantra they will chant is Soham. You heard this mantra? Soham. What does Soham mean? What does Soham ka arth kya hai?
All God is me.
Huh?
All God.
I am God. So basically Soham means I am God. I mean, interesting type of mantra to chant. I am God, I am God. So there is this group of impersonalists who do the chanting. Soham, I am God, I am that. Soham means I am that, I am that, I am God. So someone preached to a new person, and this guy started to chant Soham, 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 I am God, I am God, I am God. After some time, one devotee came to him, one Vaishnava came to him, and this Vaishnava told him, Baba, what are you doing? We can never become God. We can never become God. We are always servants of God. So this fellow said, I'm already used to chanting now Soham, Soham. I can't change this mantra. So this devotee told him, no problem. You just had a the before what you are chanting. So the devotee told him to chant Da Soham. I am not God. I am a servant of God. So this is what the Vaishnavas teach us. Da Soham. So this fellow started to chant Da Soham, Da Soham. I am servant of God. I am servant of God. I am servant of God. And he went away. After some time, that impersonalist came again to do follow up. And he said, hey, what happened? Pagka, you came in touch with some ISKCON guy and told him that fellow has brainwashed you. Now I'll tell you what to chant. So he said, now you are chanting Da Soham and so before that. So this fellow started to chant Sada Soham. I am always God. I am always God. Sada Soham, Sada Soham. After some time, the devotee comes again. Devotee tells him, no. Add a the before this. And this person started to chant Das Das Soham. I am servant of God. And this continues. The game continues forever, right? So Prabhupada explains here, these two types of transcendentalists always exist. But we have been seeing in Gita, time and again, practically in every chapter, Krishna has been speaking about his personal form. Prabhupada mentions the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What does Lord Krishna say? Antakalecha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. So Lord Krishna says, whoever remembers me at the time of death, not impersonal Brahmajyoti, whoever remembers me at the time of death will come to me. We saw in the 11th chapter, which we discussed last week, how did the 11th chapter end? Lord Krishna showed the universal form Viratu, but then finally Lord Krishna showed the two-handed form of Krishna, And Lord Krishna says this two-handed form is so rare to see, even demigods don't get an opportunity to see this form. So Prabhupada explains time and again, Lord Krishna in the Gita stresses this personal form. But still there are people who quote Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's Gita, and they tell that Krishna is not God, Brahma Jyoti is the supreme. When Krishna tells in Gita, the 18th chapter, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. What is the meaning of this? Krishna is saying, give up all duties, surrender unto me. You know how the impersonalists, they give the meaning of this shloka? They say what Krishna means is, Krishna is saying, surrender unto the Brahma Jyoti within me. That means these impersonalists have become too smart. They are thinking that they are smarter than Krishna. Krishna is saying, surrender unto me. What the impersonalists say? Surrender unto the Brahma Jyoti within me. Does Krishna say this? No. So these people, they try to, derive some meaning or the other to prove their point. So this difference of opinion has always been there. Which is more supreme? Personal worship or impersonal worship? You understood the question of Arjuna? A very clear question that Arjuna is asking Krishna. And how does Lord Krishna answer it? In the second verse itself, Lord Krishna doesn't wait for the end of the chapter. Second verse itself, Lord Krishna settles the matter. Once and for all, the matter is settled. Text 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Manoyema Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopeta Time Yukta Tamamata. Matter settled once for all. Okay? If you have any difference of opinion, you have to refer to a scripture. Right? Like if two doctors have a fight, which medicine to give, you refer to a standard book. Okay? So similarly, if people have difference of opinion, you refer to a scripture, Shastra. And Bhagavad Gita is the most important fundamental Shastra. So Lord Krishna is very clear, Maya Vesha Mano Yema. One who thinks of me, one who fixes his mind on me, Nitya Yukta Upasate. Yukta means connected through devotional service. Nitya Yukta Upasate. One who's connected to me. How Upasate? Through worship. Shraddhaya Parayopetas. One who's worshipping me with great faith, with great love. Tame Yukta Tamamata. Such a person is the most perfect, is the supreme. He is the greatest yogi or he is the greatest of transcendentalists. So Lord Krishna is very clear. No minching of words. Very clear Lord Krishna is saying out of the two, a devotee who thinks of Krishna, who worships Krishna, who has faith in Krishna's form is considered to be the highest. So this is like very clear. The scriptures are like crystal clear about what the truth is. And if you see Bhagavatam, we were there in Kudal, we were discussing Bhagavatam for 2 continuous days. So there in Bhishma Deva's prayers, Brahmaji's prayers, it's very clear. They are not glorifying the Supreme as impersonal Brahma Jyoti. They're very clear. Brahmaji is saying, Krishna, you are the Supreme. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the cause of Brahma Jyoti. Krishna is the cause of Paramatma. Krishna is the cause of everything. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, a devotee is the most perfect. We saw the 6th chapter of Gita, Dhyan Yoga. How does the chapter end with? Lord Krishna says, almost the similar verse, a similar meaning. Lord Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgaten antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yoman samay yukta tamo mataha. Same word, tamo mataha, yukta tamo mataha. It ends the same way. So Lord Krishna says there also in the 6th chapter, a devotee is the greatest yogi. And here also Lord Krishna says, a devotee is the greatest transcendentalist. And Prabhupada says, engaging in Krishna, Nitya Yukta Upasate, continuously being connected with Krishna is very simple. So Prabhupada says, how do you remain connected with Krishna? So Prabhupada is saying, sometimes a devotee chants, sometimes he hears about Krishna, sometimes he reads books about Krishna, sometimes he cooks prasadam, sometimes he goes to the marketplace to buy something for Krishna, he washes dishes for Krishna, he cleans temples for Krishna. Not a single moment of a devotee is passed without being connected to Krishna. And this alone is samadhi. very easily one attains the samadhi. We were discussing in our Bhagavatam class, after many years of gaining knowledge, one will come to the conclusion that Krishna is God. But in the process of bhakti, right from the beginning, you know Krishna is God. You don't have to wait. So those who are jnanis, those who are worshippers of impersonal Brahmajyoti, they study scriptures, Vedanta. But after studying Vedanta for years and years, you will come to the understanding that Krishna is that Supreme Lord. But in the process of bhakti, even a new person understands that Krishna is Supreme. Your process starts right from the beginning. In text 3 and 4, Lord Krishna explains, Yatva aksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kutastam achaladruvam sanniyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hiterata. So Lord Krishna says, those who worship, so Lord Krishna has explained that those who are worshippers of the personal form, the devotees are the supreme, are the greatest. But Lord Krishna is saying here, even those who are impersonalists, it's not that they will not get any destination. They will also attain the destination, but finally they will achieve Krishna. It may take a long time. The process is very long. After many, many births. Therefore, that verse that Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavam ma prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Prabhupada quotes this. An impersonalist may achieve Krishna after a very long period. But a devotee achieves Krishna very, very quickly. We will see a verse ahead where Lord Krishna says, I am the swift deliverer of one who surrenders to me. An impersonalist may have to wait a long time, but a devotee can achieve Krishna very, very soon. So these are two aspects of God, right? So ultimately, it's not that we have to keep fighting with the impersonalists. We have to understand that God has different aspects. The Bhagavatam explains, Vadanti tat tattva vidhas tattvam yajnaya madvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. There are three levels of understanding God. We have been discussing this, right? Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. These are all three understandings of God. If someone says Brahma Jyoti, God means the supreme energy, the supreme power, the supreme nothingness. That's also correct. That's one understanding. The other understanding is Paramatma. God who is there in every atom, is there in every heart, all pervading feature. That is also correct. But there is another understanding of Bhagavan with God having a form. But of all the three, the form aspect is considered to be more superior. Lord Krishna explains in the Gita, there's one verse where Lord Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Brahma Jyoti is situated on me. From Lord Krishna, the effulgence coming from Lord Krishna is actually called Brahma Jyoti. Right? So in this way, these are different aspects of God. So someone who is inclined to the impersonalist aspect can continue his worship, but he may finally achieve the understanding that God is a person. In the Bhagavatam, there are two examples that come of impersonalists. See, in the Bhagavatam, you will have many examples of impersonalists. You understand what's an impersonalist? Those who don't believe in Krishna and God having a form, those who are worshippers of Brahma Jyoti. There are examples of impersonalists becoming personalists. There are examples of Mayavadis becoming Vaishnavas. But you will not find in scripture one example of a Vaishnava becoming a Mayavadi. It never happens. It never happens. The other way only happens. This way never happens. The two classic examples of Mayavadis, impersonalists becoming Vaishnavas, one is Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami was such a liberated soul. In the womb of his mother, he was a liberated soul. He didn't want to come out also. He felt that if I come out, I will get entrapped by the material nature. He didn't want to come out. Lord Krishna told him, you come out, nothing will happen to you. So he came out and he just walked out of his house. He was such a liberated soul. He was completely on the level of Brahma Jyoti. He was experiencing Brahmanand, the bliss of Brahman. But still Shukdev Goswami comes back to his house only to learn Bhagavatam from Vyasdev. Why? Ittam Bhuto Guno Hari. Because Shukdev Goswami, he was merged into Nirgun Nirvishesh. But when he heard the beautiful pastimes and qualities of Krishna, Shukdev Goswami got attracted. This is the first example. Second example is of the four Kumaras. You all know this, the four sons of Brahma, Chatush Kumaras. Sanak, Sanatan, Sanandan, Sanak Rishi, the four Kumaras. They were also impersonalists. They were worshippers of Brahma Jyoti. But one time they go to Vaikuntha, and when Lord Vishnu comes, you all know this famous story, no? The four Kumaras are having fight with Jai and Vijay. And that time Vishnu comes to settle the matter. So first time they are seeing Lord Vishnu, the form of Lord. The Bhagavatam explains, no, forget the form of Krishna, just the fragrance of Tulsi that comes from the lotus feet of Lord, when it enters their nostrils, they become converted into Vaishnavas. So these are two examples that come to show that those who are impersonalists, when they get attracted, when they hear the pastimes of Krishna, when they see the beauty of Krishna, they all become Vaishnavas. Now in text 5, Lord Krishna explains what is the problem with impersonal worship. Someone may say, "Okay, I am an impersonalist." Now, what is the problem? Lord Krishna explains in text 5. Klesho adhikarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam deha vadbir avapyate. So, Lord Krishna uses two words. These two words will make it very clear the problem with impersonalist kind of worship. So Lord Krishna says klesha. Klesha means trouble. Avyakta asakta chetasa. Asakta is attached. Avyakta is unmanifest. Anyone who's attached to the unmanifest impersonal Brahma Jyoti, those who are impersonalists, two problems. First is klesha. Their path, the path of impersonalism, is filled with difficulties. And second, avyaktahi gatir dukkam. One will experience lot of misery in this path. Why? Because Lord Krishna says, for the embodied, we all, now if I have to tell you, love someone. To love someone, there has to be someone, no? Now if I tell you, love air, show your love to air. How will you love air? Is there any way you can love air? How can you love air? If I tell you, love light, show your love to light. How can you show your love to light? Right? To love, there has to be a form. So someone says, I love Brahma Jyoti. But how will you love? How can you love? How will that feelings of love come? How will you show those feelings of love to Brahma Jyoti? Will you offer a flower to Brahma Jyoti? What will you do? Right? And to experience feelings of love, you have to hear something about that person. Right? When we hear something about someone, we experience love for him. Now, what are the leelas of Brahma Jyoti? Brahma Jyoti does any leela? There are no pastimes of Brahma Jyoti. Now, in order to love, you have to either describe the form of that person, qualities of the person. Brahma Jyoti has no form, Nirakar, it has no gun, nirgun. How will you express love? How will you find love? Very difficult and a complicated path. Very difficult and a complicated. So the path is complicated. The result, whether you will get or not, no guarantee. So it's a very difficult and a confusing path. So Lord Krishna says the personalist is more perfect because there are a lot of difficulties on the path of impersonal worship. Lot of difficulties. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that the path of impersonalism, neti neti. So basically, what is the path of impersonalism? The Mayavadis, they have this philosophy called neti neti. Not this, not that. So now, how do you define God? Their way of defining God is not this, not this, not this, not this. They will not tell you what God is. They will tell you God is not this, God is not this, God is not this. But what God is, they have no definition. So, it's a very complex jugglery of words. Shankaracharya, in the jugglery of words, it's so confusing that the essence is missed. The essence is completely lost in this whole process. So there are too many difficulties on the path of impersonalism. And Prabhupada explains here, the personalist path, we have a deity to worship. And this deity is actually Krishna, Archa Vigraha. This Krishna in the form of this deity. So we can connect to the form of the deity, we can offer flowers, we can offer prayers. And in impersonal kind of worship, what will you connect to? Very, very difficult to connect, right? And you can't express your feelings, you can't direct your feelings to this impersonal form. And neither can you hear, neither can you chant about this impersonal form. So on all levels, the process is very, very difficult. So Prabhupada explains here, now the process is difficult. Now at some time you understand, okay, the impulseless path is not the right path or not the highest path. I wouldn't say right path, not the highest path. Let me become a devotee. The problem Prabhupada explains is because lifelong you have followed the impulseless path. Now even if you understand that the path of bhakti is correct, it will be very difficult for you to follow. Because mind is totally complicated. So by the grace of Lord, some devotee, such a transcendentalist, highly learned in the process of Jnana Yoga, may come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. At that time, the long practice of impulsalism becomes a source of trouble because he cannot give up that idea. It's easy to make non-devotees into devotees. Because clean slate. But very difficult to convert an impulseless to a personalist. Too difficult. Because it's already, the mind is programmed in wrong ways, Very, very difficult. So in this way, Lord Krishna is very clear. So you're seeing there is no mincing of words. Lord Krishna is very clear. Definitely impersonalist path is also a path. One may reach Krishna, but the path is filled with too many difficulties. And Lord Krishna is saying, of the two, the personalists are more secure. They are more secure. The result is more sure. The path is filled with bliss. The 9th chapter of the Gita, Lord Krishna explains Rajya Vidya Rajya Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. And there Lord Krishna uses the word Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Bhakti is a process in which is very blissful. Anandha Buddhi Vardhanam. But the impersonalist Brahmajyoti type of worship is Klesha and Dukkha. It is filled with difficulty and is filled with lot of sorrow, lot of pains. So this is the comparison that Lord Krishna makes here very clearly. And then 6 and 7, right? So basically, we are seeing the difficulties in impersonal worship, right? One is there is no deity to worship. You cannot direct your feelings. You can't hear and chant about impersonal Brahmajyoti. And even if you realize that Krishna is the supreme, very difficult to change once you realize also, because it's already too late. You have been programmed in the wrong school. Now Lord Krishna explains 6 and 7. This is a very beautiful verse. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परा अनन्यैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते. So the first verse, Lord Krishna is explaining. So he's explaining the difference between both the process. And now Lord Krishna is explaining about a devotee. Who is a devotee? Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sannyasa matpara. Who is a devotee? He offers all his activities to Krishna. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yad juhosi dadasi yad tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushu madarpanam. A devotee means he offers everything to Krishna. That's the first understanding. Matpara. Matpara means he is attached to Krishna. Not attached to Brahmajyoti, is attached to the form of Krishna. So devotee means one who offers everything to Krishna, his activities. One who is attached to Krishna. Ananyeva yogena. Ananyeva means one who is undeviated. One who worships Krishna without deviation. Mam dhyayantu upasate. One who is focusing on Krishna. One who is worshipping Krishna. What is Lord Krishna's assurance? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachidat varta maya aveshita chetasam. So Lord Krishna's assurance. Lord Krishna is not assuring the impersonalists. Lord Krishna is saying you can try your luck. But Lord Krishna is saying, my devotees I assure. What does Lord Krishna assure? Tesham aham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. I will come and I will take such devotees away from the cycle of birth and death. The ocean of birth and death I will take. Bhavami no chirat partha. No chirat means, chirat is long time. No chirat means not a long time. Very quickly I will take such devotees. So we saw the impersonalist path, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. It takes a long time. Even if you reach Krishna, it takes a long time. But the process of bhakti, Lord Krishna is saying, Bhavami no chirat partha. Without wasting time, very quickly I will deliver such a devotee. Provided Maya aveshita chetasam. Provided such a devotee is continuously thinking of me. not the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So Prabhupada is explaining here, as soon as you take to devotional service, Krishna comes to help. You are seeing here, a devotee is, floating in this ocean of birth and death. Everyone is floating. But Lord Krishna comes on the Garuda and takes someone. So Prabhupada explains here, even if someone is an expert teacher, an expert swimmer, right? He's trying to swim in this ocean, very difficult to swim. How much can an expert swimmer swim? So the difference between Brahma Jyoti and worship of Krishna is, those who are impersonalists, they feel that they can just do it on their own. Because they don't take shelter of higher powers. They don't take shelter of Krishna. But the devotees, because they take shelter of Krishna, Krishna comes to help such people. So Prabhupada is explaining here, even if someone is an expert swimmer, how can you swim across this ocean of birth and death? But if you actually surrender to Krishna, Krishna comes on his Garuda and Krishna actually delivers his devotee. And Prabhupada gives a second example. A child is completely cared for his parents and therefore his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee, because he is completely dependent on Krishna, Krishna takes care of such a devotee. And Prabhupada explains here, how do you surrender to Krishna? Prabhupada in this particular purport, 2 times he gives the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In one place, Prabhupada says, the process is very simple. Just chant Mahamantra. In another place, Prabhupada says, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can easily, happily achieve the highest destination. आराम से भी होगा, जल्दी भी होगा, बहुत आनंद के साथ भी होगा, which doesn't happen in the other process. So the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja is not, Krishna is not saying surrender to the impersonal within me. Krishna is saying surrender to me, I will deliver you. So the first 7 verses speak on the concept of Godhead. Supreme Paratattva is not impersonal. Paratattva, the supreme understanding of Paratattva is personal form of God, which is supported and certified by Lord Krishna in the first 7 verses. You're getting the point here? So this is the first section, Godhead, stands for G, verse number 1 to 7. Now, from 8 to 12, Lord Krishna is giving us different options. Lord Krishna is giving people different options. Suppose someone tells Lord Krishna, I cannot practice pure bhakti. So Lord Krishna gives them step. If you cannot do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. So Lord Krishna is keeping different paths open. Start somewhere. कहीं ना कहीं से तो शुरू करो, है कि नहीं? यहाँ से नहीं, यहाँ से नहीं, यहाँ. Krishna has given us different options. What are the various options Lord Krishna is giving? Verse number 8 to 12. Maya eva mana adastva Mayi buddhim niveshaya Nivasasya sima eva Ata urdhvam na samshaya. The highest level that Lord Krishna starts with, the highest level, is spontaneous devotional service. This is called Raganuga Bhakti, Ragatmika Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service, where one is completely surrendered to Krishna, 100%. He cannot live without Krishna. For him, Lord Krishna is like oxygen. Ashunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahirame. Without Krishna, even one moment seems like millions of years. That is like a very high level. So Lord Krishna is speaking about that highest level. Just fix your mind on me and engage all your intelligence in me. In this way, you will live with me always without a doubt. So Lord Krishna is saying here, Nivas yasi mameva atal urdhvam na samshaya. For such a pure devotee, Lord is always there with such a devotee. The devotee never leaves the Lord and the Lord never leaves such a devotee. So this is the highest level. So for all of us, this kind of bhakti is very high. We cannot practice this kind of bhakti. So if we cannot do that, Lord Krishna has the next level called disciplined absorption. One is spontaneous absorption. One is naturally attracted to Lord Krishna. Right? If you are not on that level, you get your absorption slowly. So that highest level is called Raga Anuga Bhakti, or beyond that, Ragatmika Bhakti. The bhakti that we are following, which Lord Krishna explains in the next level, is called Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means sadhana bhakti. Right? You don't have that love for Krishna, but you're trying to practice it. So Prabhupada defines Vaidhi Bhakti as devotional service in practice. Raganuga Bhakti is devotional service in perfection. Now what we are doing is devotional service in practice. So what happens on that level? Text 9. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknosi mahi stiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichchatum dhananjaya. So Lord Krishna is saying, my dear Dhananjay, my dear Arjuna, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation. So the first level is Mayeva mana adastva. The first level of a pure devotee is one whose mind is fixed on Krishna. He cannot think of anything other than Krishna. We are not on that level. So Lord Krishna is recommending, if you cannot fix your mind on me continuously, then what you do? Abhyasa yogena tato. If you're not able to fix Atha chittam samadhatum no shaknosi mayi stiram. If your mind is not completely fixed on Krishna, then what you do? Abhyasa yogena tato. Do abhyas. And abhyas is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana is also abhyas, practice. Devotional service and practice. Keep practicing. Your mind may not be fixed on Krishna. Keep trying. Mam ichchatum dhananjaya. At least develop a desire to attain Krishna. So the perfection of life is to cry for Krishna. We were discussing in a Bhagavatam class, right? When Lord Krishna is leaving from Hastinapur and going to Dwarka, everyone is crying. That Krishna is going, Draupadi is crying, Kunti is crying, Pandavas are crying, everyone is crying, Krishna is going away. And Prabhupada explains there that when Lord Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, all the gopis were eternally crying. So the perfection is to cry for Krishna. But can we cry for Krishna? We are not able to cry for Krishna. So what we should cry? We should cry that we cannot cry for Krishna. Getting the point? You're understanding? हम कृष्ण के लिए रो नहीं पा रहे हैं, तो हमको क्या रोना है? हमको भगवान के लिए रोना है कि भगवान, we should cry that हमको रोना है कि भगवान मैं आपके लिए रो नहीं पा रहा हूँ. So if you're not able to absorb our minds in Krishna, at least we should have a desire to do so. And that is what is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And Prabhupada explains here, practicing devotional service in guidance, according to scriptures, like the Guru tells you, rising early in the morning, taking a bath, entering into the temple, chanting Hare Krishna, collecting flowers to the deity, offering foodstuff to deities, taking prasadam, hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing Bhagavatam, the Navvidha Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are all the 9 processes of devotional service. So like this you practice. So Bhakti Yoga with rules and regulations under the direction of spiritual master. This is called disciplined absorption. So the first was spontaneous absorption. If you can't do that, Lord Krishna recommends the next option is disciplined absorption. Someone may say that I can't do that. So disciplined absorption means what? रोज सुबह उठना, जप करना, भक्ति करना, गीता भागवत पढ़ना. कोई बोलेगा बाबा भक्ति नहीं होता है कि नहीं, वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी. So Lord Krishna says, ठीक है, no problem. Text 10. अभ्यासे पि असमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम अपि कर्माणि पूर्वं सिद्धिं अवाप्स्यसि. अभ्यासे पि असमर्थोऽसि. भक्ति का अभ्यास करने के लिए भी आप असमर्थ हो. इफ यू कांट इवन डू साधना भक्ति, हाथ में लेकर माला जपने के लिए मुश्किल है, ये सब करना मुश्किल है. सो लॉर्ड कृष्णा इज सेइंग नो प्रॉब्लम, जस्ट वर्क फॉर मी, मेरे लिए काम करना. एंड व्हाट डज दिस मीन? सो प्रभुपाद एक्सप्लेन्स, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू प्रैक्टिस भक्ति, इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू बिकम अ डिवोटी, बिकम अ वेल विशर एटलीस्ट. What is a well-wisher? So Prabhupada explains here, for spreading Krishna consciousness, we need land, we need money, we need labor. So Prabhupada says in any business, to spread any business, you need land, you need resources. You need land, you need money, you need people. Right? You need all these things. Men, money, material. 3 M's, no? They say material, men, money, 3 M's. So even in Krishna consciousness, you need the 3 M's. Okay? You need money, you need men, and you need material. If you're not able to do sadhana bhakti, okay, at least you give some donation. If you can't give some donation, give some material, give some men, help in some way. This is also bhakti. So Lord Krishna is helping us a little in our fund drive also. So that means when we go to people and ask donations, they are helping us, but they are helping themselves. Because their bhakti is starting this way. They don't have, you tell them to chant Hare Krishna, they're not going to do it. But TK, you are earning so much, give something to Krishna. When they do that, their bhakti start, and slowly, now or later, they will actually come to the next level. So that's what Prabhupada explains here, that in any project, we need all these resources. So some people can help us build a temple, push the books further. In some way or the other, they can help. And if they do this voluntarily, they will gradually rise to the next level. Because this is also bhakti. Right? This is also bhakti. This is also needed. So slowly people will rise to the next level. When Srila Prabhupada was in Bombay, in those days when our ISKCON Juhu temple was getting constructed, now to Juhu is like right the heart of Bombay, the most important part where all the Bollywood stars stay and everything. But in those days, Juhu was nothing practically. And that land that we got was filled with rats and mosquitoes and all sort of different things. And American disciples of Srila Prabhupada were staying there. Can you imagine? People from America used to so much comfort. They were staying in tents with insects, rats moving around. So there was one person called Mr. Sethi. He was not a devotee. He was not chanting Hare Krishna. He was not like a devotee type. But he was in this category. He wanted to help devotees. So with his own endeavor, with his own little money, he started to make houses for devotees there, so that devotees can be comfortable. So Prabhupada was so happy. Prabhupada really loved these people also. So Prabhupada told him, you are making houses for devotees here, Krishna is making house for you there in the spiritual world. So some way or the other, you help the movement go ahead. Okay. So now if someone says, I can't even do this, मैं ये भी नहीं कर सकता. So then Lord Krishna is saying here, okay, before we go to this verse, text 11, अतैतद् अपि असत्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगम् आश्रिता सर्वकर्म फलत्यागं ततः कुरु यथात्मवान्. So Lord Krishna is saying, even if you can't do this, you're not able to do anything for the Krishna conscious movement, then okay, at least give up some results of your work. So Prabhupada explains that what this level means is that you do some punya karya. If you can't help the Krishna conscious movement, this is the highest type of welfare work. If you can't do that, do something. So people open hospitals, anath ashram, give food, give clothes, do something. Some way in which some sense of giving comes, some sense of detachment comes. So this is also good. This is also a good start. Because by giving process, slowly one will get the mercy of Krishna. So Prabhupada explains here. So Prabhupada explains, in this way one will gradually come up to the point of Krishna consciousness. And this is recommended here because the mind gradually becomes pure. In that respect, social service, community service, national service may be accepted so that one day one may come to the point of pure devotional service. Gradually the process may come. So this is also fine. You recommend people. Right? So some people, you tell people, you give donations for Krishna consciousness, they say that I'm already doing this, I'm already doing that. You tell them, yeah, very nice, keep doing it. So gradually at some time it will happen. Okay. And then in next verse, Lord Krishna says, Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnanad jnanam vishishyate jnanad karma phalatyagas tyagat shantir anantaram. So Lord Krishna is giving the next few options. If you cannot do this also, then engage in cultivation of knowledge. But better than knowledge is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of action. So in this way, Lord Krishna is saying, if you can't do this also, cultivate knowledge or cultivate some kind of meditation. In this way, Lord Krishna is giving us various options. But the highest option Lord Krishna gave in the beginning. Maya Sakta Manoeva. Fix your mind on Krishna. So Lord Krishna starts with that level, and then gradually those who can't fit into the level fit some way or the other in the whole system. So that some way or the other their path of bhakti starts. Fine. So these are the other options. Meditation on super soul, knowledge of Brahman, support a good cause. So these are the various options. Okay? Lord Krishna gives 8 to 12. So O in this acronym God stands for options 8 to 12. Now the last section, 13 to 20, is the qualities of devotees. So 13 to 20 is exactly 8 verses. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 28 verses, Lord Krishna is glorifying devotees. So these 8 verses are also called Bhaktashtakam. Okay? We have Chorashtakam, you have Krishnashtakam, you have so many Ashtakams. We have devotees glorifying Krishna in 8 verses. Okay? Damodarashtakam, you have all these kind of prayers. But here, Krishna is glorifying devotees in 8 verses. So this is the Leela of Krishna and his devotees. Devotees glorify Krishna in 8 set of verses. Here, Lord Krishna is glorifying his pure devotees. So these 8 verses, Krishna is not glorifying impersonalist. कहीं पे नहीं है मायावाद अष्टकम or any, there is no ashtakam like that. There is no ashtakam where Lord Krishna is glorifying jnanis, karmis. These are 8 verses. Lord Krishna is glorifying whom? Devotees. So one very important lesson in this set of 8 verses is how the position of devotee is so great. Lord Krishna specifically glorifying the first category of devotees, the pure devotees. This is called Bhaktashtakam. Qualities that a devotee should aim for. Or basically, Lord Krishna ends every verse with Yomat Bhakta Same Priya. Lord Krishna says, such a devotee is dear to me. So the word is Yomat Bhakta Same Priya. Lord Krishna is saying, such a devotee is dear to me. Lord Krishna doesn't say, Yomat Jnani Chame Priya. Such a Jnani is dear to me, such a Karmi is dear to me, such a Yogi is dear to me. Lord Krishna is very clear with his words. Yome Bhakta Same Priya. A devotee is dear to me. So for all of us, if you want to become dear to Krishna, these are the eight verses we should meditate on, and these are the qualities we should develop. So Lord Krishna is very clear. If you want to become dear to me, these are the qualities that you should develop in life, or at least aim to develop in life. Okay? 13-14 Adveshta sarvabhutanam Maitra karuna evacha Nirmamo nirahankara Sama dukkha sukha kshami Santushta satatam yogi Yatatma drida nishchaya Mai arpito manobuddhir Yomat bhakta same priya. These are beautiful set of qualities that we can meditate on. The goal may be very far for us. Himalaya may be very far, right? But still, if you are walking on that path to reach this place, then it's fine. So at least the goal should be very clear. What are we aspiring for? What are the qualities that we want in our life if we want to become dear to Krishna? Adveshta. Adveshta means Adveshta Sarva Bhutana. What does this mean? A devotee is not envious for anyone. He is a good friend for all living beings. Adveshta Sarva Bhutana. Anyone gets money, this, that, we don't have to become envious. We celebrate other people's success. We were discussing in a Bhagavatam class. Bhishma Dev is lying on his bed of arrows. He is suffering in pain, but Bhishma Dev is very happy that Yudhishthira is finally becoming the king. Bhishma Dev is glorifying Arjuna. Arjuna, you are more fortunate than me. Krishna became your chariot driver. I am not so fortunate. So Bhishma Dev is not envious of anyone. Arjuna is in one sense younger to him, junior to him, but Bhishma Dev is not envious. So devotee means non-envious nature. Happy seeing others' success, happy seeing others getting Krishna's mercy. And you find these stories in Chaitanya Charitamrita time and again. Mahaprabhu gives mercy to some devotee, Rupa Goswami, and all the devotees are very happy. The devotees are not envious that why is the Lord showing mercy to such a devotee. Adveshta sarva bhutana. non-envious, a kind friend to all living beings. Next, Maitra Karuna Evacha. A devotee is a friend. Karuna Evacha is very, very kind. Adveshta is non-envious. And then Maitra Karuna Evacha. A devotee is friendly and very kind to everyone. Not that kind only to family members. Not that kind only to devotees. You can show kindness to everyone. Right? So kindness is something that will always come back to you. Right? And kindness may be just thanking someone, smiling at someone, helping someone in some small way, small acts of kindness. If you read the life of Tukaram Maharaj was this kind of devotee. He would help anyone. In Dehu, it is explained when anyone would be sick, Tukaram Maharaj would, anyone, even like a stranger walking on the road, if Tukaram could help, he would definitely help that person. He would give them medicines, massage their feet, he would give them water. If you would see an old lady not able to carry something, if Tukaram could do, he would definitely help. So, Maitra Karuna Evacha. Nirmamo. What does Nirmamo means? Nirmamo means no sense of proprietorship. Nothing is mine. Nirmamo. This is such an important quality to cultivate. Nirmamo. Nothing is mine. Because everything is given by Krishna. And at the time of death, everything will go back to Krishna only. Our body is made of 5 elements and then the body goes back to the 5 elements. What is ours? There is nothing that is ours. Nirmamo. No sense of proprietorship. Nirahankar. No ego. Okay. So a devotee means he is very, very humble. We were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita just before this class. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is so humble. He is such a great soul. He is the one who's written Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the greatest acharyas. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, I put my head at the feet of all my readers. I'm falling at the feet of all my readers, seeking their blessings. So a great soul is always humble. An arrogant soul, he's arrogant, therefore he's not great. A great soul means naturally very, very humble. Nirmamo, nirahankar. Nothing is mine and I am also nothing. I am insignificant. Jiveru Sarupoi Krishnera Nityadas. I am a small, insignificant servant of Krishna. Sama Dukkha Sukha Kshami. And a devotee is equal. Sama Dukkha Sukha Kshami is equal both in happiness and distress. He sees both equally. Because both material happiness and distress, both are material only. Right? From the spiritual point of view, it really doesn't make any difference. Spiritual point of view, what makes difference is whether you are progressing in bhakti. We were discussing the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the same mood he says, Sampade vipade taha takuk samabhave dine dine vriddhi hauk namera prabhave. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in good times, bad times, let me be equipoised. But let my devotion to you increase in both times. In good times and bad times, let my bhakti increase. Otherwise, these things I am not so bothered. Sama dukkha sukha kshami. Santushta. Very satisfied with whatever comes on his own. What material prosperity comes on his own, you're satisfied. You definitely work, but then you don't overwork. You understand that what is written in your destiny will gradually come. Satatam yogi. Satatam yogi is always engaged in devotion service. Not sometimes. Always engaged in devotion service. And how is he engaged? Yatatma drida nishchaya. He is very determined in the process of devotion service. Very self-controlled, very determined. Mai arpito mano buddhir. And such a devotee is offered his mind, his intelligence, everything in service of Krishna. Yomat bhakta samay priya. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. So Prabhupada explains in the purport all these various qualities that we need to develop. So you all can go back home and read the purports. Now that today we are completing the 12th chapter. Next week we will have like an open book MCQ test on 7 to 12. After we completed 6 chapters, I think we did the exercise. Now the next 6 set of chapters is over, 7 to 12. Next Monday we can have like an open book test, just for you all to get a hold of this. And then last 6 chapters we will do later. So you all can go back and read the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Text 15. Yasmano dvijate loko lokano dvijate chaya harsha marsha bhayodvege Muktaya Sachame Priya Yasma no Dvijita Loko Loka no Dvijite Chaya. So a devotee means he doesn't put anyone in difficulty, and when someone puts him in difficulty, he is not disturbed. हमारा उल्टा होता है. We put others in difficulty, and when others put in difficulty, we are very disturbed. है कि नहीं? So devotee means he doesn't cause disturbance for others, but when others cause disturbance for him, he is not disturbed. This is a devotee. That means basically Mahaprabhu Shloka Trinadapi Sunichena Tadorapi Sarishtana. You tolerate, and then you are very, very, very humble. You don't give back. Right? A devotee is very equipoised in both. He is not disturbed when difficulties come, and he doesn't put anyone into difficulty. What does put anyone into difficulty means? The idea is you don't make anyone anxious with your thoughts, words, or deeds. With our speech, we should not put anyone into anxiety. With our action, we should not put anyone into anxiety. Therefore, we were discussing Bhagavatam, the 9th chapter, where Yudhishthir Maharaj, after the entire war of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthir is so disturbed. Why is he disturbed? Even though it says here that you should not be disturbed, but he is disturbed for another reason. Right? You should not be disturbed when others put you in difficulty. But Yudhishthir was disturbed that because of me, so many people have been killed. He just couldn't sleep in the nights. Lord Krishna, Bhishma Dev, everyone had to convince him. So the point is, a devotee means he doesn't want to put anyone into anxiety. For him, no one should suffer anxiety. And when people trouble him, he's equipoised. He doesn't expect the other way around. He is also very happy. Harsha Marsha Bhayodvege. So such a devotee is, whether it is Harsha Marsha, happiness, distress, fear, anxiety, he is equipoised. Mukto ya chame priya. Such a devotee is very, very equipoised and very, very dear to Krishna. So this is what Prabhupada explains here. A devotee is so engrossed in Krishna that he is not disturbed by anything that happens in this world. Text 16. Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha Udasino Gatavyata Sarvaramba Parityagi Yomat Bhakta Samepriya. Anapeksha means very neutral. Right? He is very neutral. Neutral means he is not, he's not too attached to something. So Prabhupada explains here, if some money is offered to a devotee takes it, but he doesn't over struggle to get it. Getting it? If something comes on its own accord, you just take it, but you don't over struggle to it. He is just dependent on Krishna. Anapeksha. Shuchir is pure. So Prabhupada explains here, a devotee is pure because a devotee takes bath couple of times a day, and devotee is pure internally because he is chanting Hare Krishna, Cheto Darpana Marjana. So a devotee means externally pure, internally pure. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is this pastime where Sanatan Goswami, one of our great acharyas, he was working under a Muslim king, Nawab Hussain Shah. So somehow he didn't want to work with him. He told Nawab Hussain Shah, I don't want to work. Nawab Hussain Shah was very angry. He put him in the prison. So Sanatan Goswami somehow very intelligently escaped the prison and ran and came to Varanasi, where Mahaprabhu was staying in one devotee's house. So when Mahaprabhu meets Sanatan Goswami, because Sanatan Goswami came from this prison for many days, he didn't shave, he had a long beard, like that. So Mahaprabhu tells one of his devotees, please take Sanatan Goswami and give him a clean shave. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, Mahaprabhu likes clean shaved people. Yeah, basically Mahaprabhu likes clean Vaishnavas. Right? So that's the point. So here the word it says is Shuchir, very pure. Daksha. What does Daksha mean? Expert. Whatever devotee does, he does it expertly. It's not that he does something, if you're doing something for Krishna, you do it nicely. So whatever it may be, maybe a small thing, big thing, that really doesn't matter. Small activity, big activity. But whatever activity, you do it nicely, expertly. And what does expertise means? Put your heart into it and do it. Every offering, anything that you do, try to do it nicely. A devotee means who is expert in things, expert in his seva. Right? Udasina gatavyataha. Udasina means he is free from care. That means he is not anxious. That's the point Prabhupada is explaining. It is not over anxious. If something comes, it's okay. If it doesn't come, it's still okay for him. He's not over anxious. And Gata Vyata means freed from all kinds of distress. Sarvaramba Parityagi. So it says here, free from cares, free from pains, and not striving for some result. So Prabhupada explains in this purport here, a devotee not striving for result means for him he doesn't want any result, but he's ready to achieve any result for Krishna. Personally he doesn't have any desire, but for Krishna he is ready to achieve. So Prabhupada explains here, I'm reading this. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy. A devotee does not take up such business if it does not benefit him in advancing Krishna consciousness. That means you may endeavor materially, but it may compromise in your spiritual practice. A devotee doesn't endeavor. But he may construct a temple, and for that he may take all kinds of anxieties. Not for his personal house, but for a temple he may take a lot of anxieties. When Srila Prabhupada was constructing our ISKCON Vrindavan temple, there was one devotee Prabhupada put him in charge. Prabhupada told him, your job, construction work, na? And the two, like these are American boys and girls working in an Indian place. Now Indian place, contractors, laborers, they can do anything. Now for an American guy to adjust with an Indian atmosphere is very difficult. So Prabhupada told him, your role is, your seva, write down every cement bag, every brick that comes here. Write it down. Keep track of everything. So this devotee was doing. So this devotee was thinking, I'm in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place where you go and chant Hare Krishna, sit in Radha Kund, go to Govardhan, experience the blissful Vrindavan atmosphere. But here is in Vrindavan counting cement bags, counting bricks. So he was completely confused. He told Prabhupada, what am I doing? Because all the other devotees were thinking this fellow is having a great time in Vrindavan. This is what he was doing. Prabhupada told him, no, this is your service. Counting cement bags, bricks is equal to chanting Hare Krishna for you. Sit and do this. Prabhupada made him do that. So the point is, a devotee is not interested in constructing something for his own, but for a temple he is ready to take up anxiety. Constructing a temple and doing this is like great anxiety work. Court cases, all this. But Prabhupada did all this. But for Krishna. Text 17. Yona harshati na dveshti na shochati na kamshati Shubha Shubha Parityagi Bhaktiman Yasat Me Priya Yona Harshati No Dveshti. One who neither rejoices too much nor grieves. No Shochati Na Kankshati. Neither laments. Kankshati. Shochati is lamenting. Kankshati is hankering. So he doesn't have any extra desires for himself. And he doesn't lament for what he has lost. Shubha Shubha Parityagi. He is not even bothered about what is auspicious, inauspicious. People are very worried about these things. क्या अच्छा है, क्या बुरा है, ज्योतिष के पास जाना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. Devotee is not bothered. Because a devotee knows that auspicious, inauspicious, for a devotee of Krishna, everything is auspicious. And if you are not a devotee, if you are not chanting Hare Krishna, everything is inauspicious. So devotee doesn't get caught in all this. Bhaktiman Yasame Priya. Such a devotee is very, very rare. So Prabhupada is explaining here, if a devotee loses something, he doesn't lament. If he gets something, he is not overjoyed. He is prepared to take any risks for the satisfaction of Krishna. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. So, the point is what? What is the essence of this point here? Nothing is an impediment. For a devotee, something bad happens to him, something good happens to him, something auspicious, inauspicious, nothing can stop him from practicing pure devotional service. Text 18, 19. Samashatracha mitrecha tata manapamanayo shitoshna sukha dukkeshu sama sanga vivarjita tulya ninda stutir moni santushto yena kenachit aniketa stitamate bhaktiman me priyo nara. This is further higher level. Sama shatrocha mitrecha. He is equal to friends and enemies. Not easy, right? In that way, becoming dear to Krishna is also not easy. You have to pay a price for it. Sama shatrocha mitrecha. That means a devotee is a well-wisher for everyone. He wishes well. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he would say, a devotee means he wishes the highest good for his worst enemy. This is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Srila Prabhupada's Guru's statement. A devotee means he wishes the highest good for his worst enemy. That's the mood of a devotee, right? He's wishing well for everyone. Sama shatraucha mitrecha. Because he ultimately sees that everyone is a pure soul. Due to some reason, some anarthas have come, but ultimately everyone is pure. Sama shatraucha mitrecha. Tata mana apamanayor. He's equipoised in honor and dishonor. Someone may honor you, someone may dishonor you. Right? So you have to be equipoised in both. And a devotee experiences all this. Like some place you go, someone may offer you a garland. Next place you go, someone may criticize you. So these things come. So being equipoised means you don't get carried away by any, you just keep going on and on. Shitoshna sukha dukkeshu. Whether it is heat or cold, honor, dishonor, nothing bothers him. So the same principle that Prabhupada mentions here, nothing is an impediment for such a devotee. Nothing. Whether it is honor, dishonor, this, that, heat, cold. The devotee just continues on and on. Samasanga vivarjita. Sangha vivarjita means he is freed from wrong association. Someone asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu said, Asat Sangha Tyag Yahi Vaishnava Achar. So Vaishnava means one who gives up wrong association. He gives up association with wrong people. Sangha Varjita. Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. Same thing. Tulya Ninda means defamation, Stuti Mauni. So he tolerates defamation also properly. He is not too much affected. Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni. Mauni means silent. So Prabhupada explains silent. Prabhupada mentions here. What does silent? What the silence means is, silent does not mean that he doesn't speak anything. It means that he doesn't speak anything other than Krishna. Silence means only speak about Krishna. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silence means one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only what is essential. And the most essential speech for a devotee is to speak for Krishna. So silence means to speak about Krishna. Radhanath Maharaj, he says, we say this saying, na? Silence is gold. You have heard this saying? Silence is gold. So Maharaj says, what does this mean is, that means you have to always keep speaking about the golden avatar, Gaurang Mahaprabhu. Silence is gold means keep speaking about the golden avatar, Mahaprabhu. That is the real meaning of silence. So and then Lord Krishna says, Santushta. Santushta is satisfied. This came before also. He doesn't care for anything, he is very, very satisfied. Yena kenachit. Santushta yena kenachit means he's satisfied with anything. If Lord Prabhupada would often say this, if the Lord wants a devotee to stay in a palace, the devotee stays. If the Lord wants a devotee to stay in a hut, he stays. Sudama was happy in a hut, Sudama was happy in a palace. Because Sudama was neither attached to hut nor attached to palace, he was attached to Krishna. So a devotee means this or that really doesn't matter. What matters to him is service to Krishna. If serving Krishna means staying in a palace, he is ready to do that. If service to Krishna means staying in a hut, he is ready to do that. Right? He is not attached to anything. And then Aniket. Aniketa means having no residence. Aniketa means having no residence. So therefore our Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, they left all their residence and they went Vrindavan. And Vrindavan, where they would stay, they would stand at this tree one day, at that tree one day. They would one day be in Nandagram. If you go to Vrindavan, you will find Sanatan Goswami's Bhajan Kutir in Nandagram. You will find his Bhajan Kutir in Gokul. You will find his Bhajan Kutir in Vrindavan. Okay? Who is a person who can have multiple houses? The Goswamis had multiple houses because they would just go and sleep anywhere. Okay, they were like happy like that. So here it says Aniket, no fixed residence. Sthita Matir, fixed in mind. Bhaktiman Yesame Priya. Such a devotee is very, very rare. And then the last verse of this chapter. Ye tu dharmamritam idam यतोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रिया ये तु धर्मामृतम idam. So Lord Krishna is saying, those who follow this path, dharmamritam, the path of bhakti, the highest path, yatoktam paryupasate, those who are completely engaged in this process of bhakti, shraddhadana matparama, with great faith, one who takes shelter of me as the supreme, as everything, bhaktas teteva me priya. Such a devotee is very, very dear to me. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, who completely engage themselves with faith, making me, Krishna, the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So this chapter, right from the beginning till the end, Lord Krishna has like hammered this point of devotional service time and again in different angles. And the last 8 verses is like icing on the cake. Or they say, the final hammer on that coffin, Lord Krishna has finally hammered this. 8 verses glorifying devotional service and a devotee. So Prabhupada explains here, right from verse number 2, Maya Avesha Mano Yemam, till this last verse, Yetu Dharmamritam Idam. The first verse was Arjuna's question. Second verse, Lord Krishna starts. Right from second verse till 20, one after another, he is hitting the point of devotional service. So Prabhupada is saying, in this chapter from verse 2 to the end, the Supreme Lord has explained the process of devotional service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to Him and He accepts the person engaged in them. So Bhakti is the most dearest process and a devotee is the most dearest. And Prabhupada explains here that Bhakti means practicing spiritual life, devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, having faith in Krishna, worshipping Krishna, hearing about Krishna, these 9 limbs of devotional service. So in this way, Lord Krishna is summarizing here the 12th chapter that the path of Bhakti is the highest and the most important. So Prabhupada mentions towards the end, Bhagavad Gita is divided into, it's 18 chapters divided into 3 sections, 6, 6, 6. The first 6 chapters speak predominantly about karma, but even in the first 6 chapters we have seen Bhakti time and again. And the 6th chapter ends with Lord Krishna stressing about Bhakti. The next set of 6 chapters, 7 to 12, Krishna has spoken so much about Bhakti. The 9th chapter, the 8th chapter, 10th chapter, 11th chapter, and then the final conclusion, the 12th chapter, one whole chapter devoted to Bhakti. And then finally the 6 chapters, we will again see Lord Krishna touching the theme of Bhakti. And the last, towards the conclusion of the 18th chapter, again Lord Krishna hammers the point of Bhakti and concludes the Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says, devotional service is described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is the most congenial. And one who is very, very fortunate can actually get the opportunity to practice the path of Bhakti. So we are all very fortunate that we have come to this path without getting caught in so many other paths. So now it's important for us that we gradually cultivate these qualities and become dear to Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.